Yo, what's good, guys?
Good morning to you there, Mr. Food Monster. This is how it's going.
Welcome to another episode of the Forgotten Album series. Today we are doing part two of 1993. So, yes, this is going to be all the three selections are going to be sleaze, hair metal, whatever you want to call it, glam metal, all underneath that hair metal umbrella. So, but a lot of people think that by 1993, hair metal was pretty much dead. Now, yes, mainstream wise, you can argue, yes, that you're right.
Boy, this party really died.
But there were still bands coming out with albums that were absolutely amazing. And I got a couple here that are right up that alley. And as you guys can see, this is probably my favorite era of hair metal, 1990 to 1993 ish. So that's why we have so many parts of the Forgotten Album series set from 1990 to 1993. So if you guys haven't checked out any of the other videos, just check out the whole series right here. And then let's just jump in right now to the very first pick on part two here. And that is going to be from obviously 1993. And that is going to be Nasty Idols with their album Vicious. Now, this album here, or this band, let's start with this band, is one of the greats of sleaze metal. Now, like as you guys know, I always talk well of Spread Eagle's debut album from 1990. Absolutely classic sleaze metal, like one of the epitome sleaze metal albums. But I think Nasty Idols has a hat in that ring to be like, hey, we were putting out some epitome sleaze metal albums as well. Now, these guys are from Sweden. So, and that's the thing, like you had Andy Pierce here, the vocalist, which sadly he did pass away previous years here. And Nasty Idols was putting out great stuff all the way up until his untimely departure. And it's just a shame because they were putting out great stuff on Paris Records. Now, this is the reissue on Paris Records. And obviously, the original record company went out of business in 1994. So, this is the last that you would have seen of the original run, I guess, of Nasty Idols because they didn't release their fourth album until like 2002 when they jumped on Paris Records, which that album was supposed to come out in 1996, but obviously they didn't have any record company. So, yes. But anyway, about this album, Andy Pierce, like I said, with his vocals, totally reminds me of a band that would come along in about 10, 15 years. If anyone's familiar, another Swedish band, Veins of Jenna, Lizzie, Divine. His vocals reminisce so much of Andy's here. And you could tell that Veins of Jenna had to have some big influences from Nasty Idols. So this album here, two video singles were on here. Heads Down, Tinseltown, absolutely sleaze masterpiece of a song. Oh, just greatness. Then you had the other single, Ain't Got Nothing, which a lot of people say that grunge was serious and, all that bullshit, which I mean, yeah, if you compare it to like Enough's Enough or Poison or Pretty Boy Floyd, yeah, I get that contrast. Okay, yes. But sleaze metal was a totally different animal from hair metal, or glam metal. And that was, I think, the natural evolution of hair metal from 1990 to 1993 before they got cut underneath at the legs, guys, by the music industry and by grunge. And I think if sleaze was promoted properly, I think we would have got more greatness from sleaze, obviously, and then obviously of hair metal as well, because all boats rise with the tide like that. So definitely here, Ain't Got Nothing, which is a great like serious song, and it's so heavy, but it's mid tempo, slow kind of like doomy in parts. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. Like it's a great song. I remember when the first time I listened to that song when I was a teenager, I was like, holy fuck. And then when I listened to it the other day, I'm like, holy fuck, in the same exact way. Like, just that song, when it comes on, it's just like, look the fuck out, everybody. Okay. Let's just back up and enjoy this piece. But I gotta say something. The whole side A on this album is absolutely great. Dance of the Wicked, R.I.P., Do You Want Another? Like, This side A is super, super good. Oh my God. For 1993, you're like, holy fuck, this is great. So, but now there are a couple tracks here that are just okay. Like I can listen to it in the context of the album. It's fine, especially because Nasty Idols is just awesome. I, I just like their sound. Obviously that sleaze sound. If you like that sleaze sound, you're going to like every song on this track or on this album. But there's a couple weaker ones. So, like No Time, Black Shot, killing hell or killing stuff. Yeah, it's okay, like I can listen to it. But now you're getting here to Pretty Cut Wild. That is a kind of like a strange song title, but not a strange song at all. Absolutely great, great chorus in that. Oh my gosh, one of my favorites on the album, and there's a lot of favorites on this album. Hell Out Shakeout's okay. Up fast paced. Electric Wonderland is really, really good. Now, I will say, No Time is the ballad. It's fine, but like you're dealing with a classic sleaze metal band when their ballads are just okay. Like there ain't nothing to write home about. Neither one of these two ballads are going to be like on a top 100 ballad playlist of mine. So you on the original album, Over and Gone is the final track, and it is like a ballad song. But Over and Gone's better than say No Time. But Andy's vocals are really good. Like obviously, like like his vocals and his delivery aren't really made for ballads, So it is what it is. You're either gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. But I like them. But like I said, it's just not gonna be on a top 100 hair metal ballad playlist for me. So, but the other two bonus tracks I'll talk about here that finishes off the album on the reissue anyway, Hurt Me and Forest of Cries. Forest of Cries is just okay. That gets left off the iPod, but Hurt Me is fine. I can dig Hurt Me. I like that. So, but nonetheless, guys, check out Nasty Idols Vicious, especially if you like Vane Jenna's debut album, Lit Up, Let Down. You can certainly see influence from these boys here that they gave influence to the second renaissance of hair metal or sleaze metal or glam metal in the early 2000s. So awesome stuff. And obviously from Sweden, that's like the hub of greatness now, then, and in the future, like of a lot of metal, but certainly the sleaze stuff. Awesome stuff. But let's go with it's going to be very hard for me to choose two tracks for you to go listen to. Obviously, listen to the two music video singles, Heads Down, Tinseltown, Ain't Got Nothing. Those are givens. But other ones, let's go with Pretty Cut Wild. That's one of my favorites I love listening to on here. And man, oh gosh. Do You Want Another? Let's do You Want Another. Awesome stuff all the way around. Guys, check out Nasty Idols, please, and their third album, Vicious.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy Paris from Count 77 and Brittany Fox, and I've got some solo albums at TommyParis.com. More importantly, right now, you are watching and listening to the Crash Course Metal Show.
Okay, now going to the next one. This is going to be a real underground one here for you guys, and that is going to be Hard Knox, Psychos Are Us. Now, if anyone's familiar with this band, which I don't think a lot of people really are, they independently released this album, and then it got reissued in 2016, which is this here, from Dive Bomb Records, and I believe you can still get it from Dive Bomb, if I'm not mistaken. I know Dive Bomb still has a website and stuff, but I think you can still get it, but I know I just looked on Spotify, and I don't think this album's on Spotify, but you should be able to find it on YouTube and such. But man, like, if you're a fan of like Rhino Bucket or, not so bluesy the Graveyard Train, or, kind of like what sleaze was going to, like a sleazier Ugly Kid Joe too, maybe. It has attitude to it. So, but 1993, and they even, when you look at them, like a picture of the band, they look like what grunge was a little bit, or like what Pantera was like around Cowboys from Hell, like that kind of feel, just minus the Phil, the lead singer Phil look, because they all had long hair. So And obviously at that point, Phil didn't have long hair, or I think he might have had a mohawk or something. But yeah, anyway, this is a good album. This is good. Like I said, it is independently released. Like they were from Utah, I believe, and it's just it's just one that's overlooked. This is an actual like true forgotten album or just unknown, just a totally unknown album, even back in the day. Obviously, 1993, you're too late. You're not going to get anyone to sign you, really. Certainly a major label, but it has that very. It's not like I said, it's not like a true sleaze, but it ain't like hair metal or glam metal or anything like that either. It certainly has attitude to it, but like Freight Train from Hell leads off the album. I think that's like kind of like an intro type deal. And then you got Railroad Tracks, second track, really, really good, like upbeat and fast pace, like good stuff. Then you got the title track, super good. Harry Carey, and also too, not so like okay, so Harry Carey, like in the middle of that song, like the vocalist is kind of like talking to you, but when he is, the guitar player is like talking to you too, like stopping with like his riffs and sliding and stuff. It's interesting. It's really cool, actually. Different, it's just different. Then we got Not So Bad, which is kind of like a mid-tempo. I don't want to call it a ballad, but it's just mid-tempo to slow, chill type song. Really cool. You're a Mess, Keeping Up are fine. They're fine songs. But and then off the 10-track album is Pushin'. That's probably my favorite song off the album. It's either Pushin' or Railroad Tracks or Feel So Good. Those are the three songs I'm going to recommend to you. But man, you can throw a dark kind of at this album and be pretty good with it. Like, and there's not much something out in left field either. Like if you like the sleaze type feel of bands and sounds and metal and such, this is going to be right up your alley. Because a buddy of mine, he actually had like a couple copies of this. I don't know how he got a couple copies, but it was brand new. He must have bought it. It probably was around 2016, to be honest with you. 17, 18 maybe. But he was like, I think you're going to like this band. And I was like, okay, let me get this from you. And in my collection ever since, and talking about it now. So it has staying power. But this reissue, I guess, technically, does have some demo tracks on it, which are good. Don't Point Your Finger. And it has a demo of Pushin' as well, which is also really good, but it's just slowed down. Not like to like ballad territory, just a mid tempo. If the original Pushin' on the album is fast, this is medium to medium fast, maybe. But good, both are good. Both versions are good. She Do It for the Money is cool. That's a good one. It's just well worth. If you guys can find this either on eBay or the reissuer Die Bomb, like certainly pick it up or check it out on YouTube at least. At least do that. Check out a couple of these songs. I think, and even the artwork's pretty interesting too. So I'm down with it, man. Like ever since I got that, like almost 10 years ago now, guys. Almost 10 years. Been a fan. I like it a lot. Just wanted to jump in here, guys, and say if you guys are still watching this video, thank you so much for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Not just this video, but all the other videos that I post and upload. We appreciate you guys being here and helping to keep this, metal genre alive. And it takes every single one of you to help keep it alive as well. And guys, if you haven't yet, click the like button. It's still free to do. Come on, it just helps the algorithms and it helps us get to other fans that like this music as well, and also brings in fans that don't know that they are fans of this music as well. So click the like button and also share this video with a friend that that likes this style of music, hair metal, thrash metal, power metal, just heavy metal in general. Give it a share. Appreciate that. And also to click the subscribe button. Hang out with us, party with us for a little while. Let's build this community up. So that's all I wanted to say. We are going right back to the video, and thanks so much for watching. All right, for our last choice here for today, guys, for 1993, we are going with Mr. Big's Bump Ahead. Now, I know what you're saying. Mr. Big, they're not a forgotten band or, or unknown band or whatever. But this album, guys, did not do well. Obviously, 1993, nothing's really going to do well. But you would think coming off of, like, the ballads of To Be With You and just all like, because the album before this, 1991, Lean Into It, did really well. And even like To Be With You was doing pretty well in 1992, even to the lead up to this album. Like it was still charting and stuff, still being played. And this did nothing. It got on number 82 of the top Billboard charts, 200 charts, and then it only went platinum in Japan. It did nothing from what I seen on or in America or anywhere else. So only in Japan that this actually did well. And which is strange because like this might have been actually the second album I had of Mr. Big because I had Lean Into It first, which I like, but I wasn't rushing out to get any of the other albums. I'll tell you that off of that album. And then I picked this up and I was kind of like pleasantly surprised with this. Good songs throughout, good ballads, you know. Well, you know, because then I eventually recently, last couple of years, picked up the debut. And I will say, like, there's a one or two songs on this album that reminds me that could have been on the debut. It has that feel, has that kind of like not raw tone, like guitar tone and bass tone stuff, but it reminds me a lot of the first album, the debut album. And I guess I'll explain it as it's not raw sounding this album, but it's just not overly produced like Lean Into It was, in my opinion. So yes, you have here Price You Gotta Pay, good song. Promise Her the Moon's like a cool mid-tempo, slower ballad. Pretty good. One of the standouts from I remember where I was when I first heard that song, actually, when I was listening to this. But yeah, a good song. Always one of my favorites on here. What's It Gonna Be is cool. You know, that is, you know, Price You Gotta Pay and What's It Gonna Be, I could easily see being on the first album, just with that like bass tone and just the feel of the song. Like, good stuff. Wild World is a Cat Stevens cover, which I actually like. I'm not a fan of Cat Stevens or even Free, which the title track here, or not the title track, but Mr. Big song, the last track is a Free cover. And I'm not a big fan of Free either. So like I didn't know these two were covers until recently. And I like these actually. I like these covers. Would I have liked the originals? I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, Wild World's fine. I can dig it. Slower, mid-pace type feel. Mr. Gone's kind of cool. I don't know. Like some of these songs like just work. Like there isn't really like a song that I would be like, hey man, you gotta listen to this song. But as an album, playing it the whole way through, I can really enjoy some of these songs, you know, like as a whole, as an album. You know, that's kind of like I'm not putting it up. I'm not putting it up to the greatness of like Back for the Attack from Dokken, but it reminds me a little bit like that. Like Back for the Attack doesn't really have that one standout song that you would introduce someone to Dokken to, other than maybe Dream Wars, but that's not technically on that album. That was added later, you know, from the movie. But certainly I would say they're kind of similar in that regard, you know, because like I can listen to this album and be totally happy with it, you know, but there's not that one like true smash hit song that you would introduce somebody to. Nothing But Love's pretty good as well. Temperamental is cool. Ain't Seen Love Like That's kind of like another ballady style feeling. Like they did slow it down on some of these songs a little bit, like to mid to slower pace tempo, but it's good. It works. I like it a lot. Then I said you finish here with the 11th track of Mr. Big, the Free cover, which is actually kind of cool. I dig it. You get a bass solo, which is really cool, actually, from Billy, you know, the bass player here, renowned bass player. You know, everyone knows who Billy Sheehan is. So, but yeah, like the singles off of this were Wild World and Ain't Seen Love Like That, 93, and then also the second single was in February of 94. So that's just way too late to even have any kind of impact, truly, especially here in America. And yeah, I like this album. You know, it's not my favorite Mr. Big album, but it's one that I don't see anyone really ever talking about. You know, when we're talking Mr. Big, you're always talking Lean Into It, or even the debut, rightfully so. But this one kind of just doesn't really get the love, and I think it has just as much playability as Lean Into It does. I don't know. I leaned into it was I always liked it, but just not like absolutely amazing, like what some people say, or even for how much it sold, I would say. So take that for what you will. But guys, Bump Ahead from Mr. Big from 1993, their third album, surprisingly. Good stuff. Good stuff. Check out, obviously, Promise of the Moon is really cool. Price You Gotta Pay is cool. What's It Gonna Be? Yeah, there's not too many bad tracks on this album, honestly. So definitely one to check out, guys. So that is our third choice, Mr. Big, Bump Ahead. We also had here Nasty Idols with Vicious. Absolutely great. If you guys like your sleaze metal and you don't know who the fuck Nasty Idols is, you're doing yourself a disservice, guys. You got to check out at least one of these albums. But this is the one I've been like listened to a lot ever since I had it, and just absolutely great. So for years. And our last one here, we got Hard Knocks, Psychos Are Us, a little unknown band from Utah. Surprisingly enough, that they actually did go on or open up for shows for like Whitesnake, even Pantera, surprisingly enough, but just did not, just a little too late, and it's just a shame. But definitely, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments of these three albums.
Talk to me.
So, guys, thank you for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. Stay out of that collateral damage. And if you guys enjoyed this Forgotten Albums episode, check out this one right here.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.